Good afternoon. My name is Jay Coe, and I'm a partner at Siguler Guff, a global private equity firm with over $10 billion under management. I'm here to present the concept of the Global Adaptation and Resilience Fund, the first commercial fund to focus on climate adaptation and resilience. We need climate adaptation and resilience now. For example, last year, some Western state wind farms underperformed their projections by 6 to 16%, threatening their credit ratings. The problem is that their wind forecast models didn't account for a stronger El Nino impacted by climate change. Thus, the very assets we're investing in, because we take climate change seriously, are being impacted by climate change because we do not account for climate change. This is just one of many, many examples. The size of the problem is enormous. IPCC estimates that between $70 and $100 billion per year is required in emerging markets alone to address this problem by 2050. Less than 20% of public climate finance, unfortunately, is focused on this area, and a fraction of that involves the private sector. The reasons are well understood: complexity, uncertainty, the perceived lack of investable opportunity. The problem is, if I handed you that $100 billion today to invest in climate adaptation, you wouldn't be able to do it. Fortunately, we have a solution: the Global Adaptation and Resilience Fund. Based on over 20 years of experience of investing in private companies worldwide, we believe that a long-term growth equity fund could successfully invest in companies whose products and services can directly address that uncertainty, complexity, and perceived lack of investable opportunity. And most importantly, that fund could begin investing today. How does the fund work? The fund is a growth equity vehicle that has two major innovations. First, an innovative focus. Guff will first invest in companies whose technologies and services identify and measure climate's impact to specific assets. It will then invest in companies whose products and projects address those impacts. Second, Guff has an innovative structure. As the first commercial fund to focus on this area, it will seek blended finance from governments, endowments, and foundations whose concessional capital can crowd in strategic and corporate and financial investors. It will also seek to invest in both developed and developing countries and actively transfer technology between the two, and also seek to measure its impact on resilience. The opportunity is to invest $500 million to $1 billion in growth equity investments in 10 to 20 companies. For example, one company we're looking at has the leading commercial flood risk models in the United States, Canada, and Australia. Growth equity investment could help scale up those models, help them accelerate their incorporation of climate change risk into their models, and take them global. Another company has developed submersible power substations. Investment from Guff could both scale the company as well as help it deploy its solutions in a targeted way based on those updated flood models. The impact could be dramatic. This would be the first commercial fund to focus on this area. Every dollar of concessional capital could crowd in up to 4 times as much private capital, and the impact would be global. More importantly, Guff is an enabling fund. It provides a roadmap to much larger investments in fixed assets, infrastructure, water, energy, healthcare, and other sectors. It allows us to understand where we should start deploying that $100 billion per year. We're experienced investors, and you're a very sophisticated audience. But this is the first commercial fund to focus in this area, so we look for your support. Secretary Kerry earlier today asked us to double down on moving to a low-carbon economy. Let's make sure that economy is also resilient to climate change and adapted for our future. We ask you to vote for Guff, the first commercial fund to focus on climate adaptation and resilience. Thank you.